morning, good afternoon and good evening. I am your host Saskia, aka Sassy Colouring, and I'm here with a product review on Monarch colouring pencils. This review is based on my opinions, my thoughts, my feelings and my experience with this product. What I think, you may not. What I like, you might not. We can have different opinions and that's fine. I'm just going to tell you how I feel about them and what I think about this product. So without further ado, let's see these bad boys. A little bit of information for you first. These are the 48 set of Monarch pencils by Black Widow. I bought these back in the start of December and I had them on sale, and they currently on the .co.uk site are still on sale for £16 2 pence, which works out at 33 pence only per pencil. Normal retail price is £38.97, which is a massive jump up, and on the .com site they are $24.57, which brings it to 51 cents per pencil. Just a bit of useless information is that they have a 4.8 out of 5-star rating, with over 85% being 5-star reviews. So while I don't give much weight to the star review system, because from my own experience it's just not fair, because you can put a 1-star review for not liking something that's out of control of the people making it. If maybe someone didn't like the sellotape on this box, they might give it 1 star because they couldn't get in it. They had around 370 something reviews on the .co.uk site, and as I say, 85% of them were 5-star. So that's a pretty high percentage of people who like this product. So the packaging is sturdy. It's a nice box. It's got weight to it. It's not flimsy packaging, and while the outer cardboard envelope was a bit beaten up, this box is in no way damaged. And as you can see on the back, we've got a kind of palette of the colours. It did actually feel a bit like Fort Knox trying to get into these, because they had plenty of sellotape to keep the lid on, and then there was the layer to keep the pencils in place. So when these pencils arrive to you, even if they've had a bit of a rough passage, I think they'll have been as protected as the company can make them. So this is our first glimpse of the colours that you're going to get in your set. Now, I do see a few holes immediately in the colour palettes, but if you do get the other Black Widow products, I've been told that you will have an amazing range of colours between all the sets. My initial thought is that they are a beautiful set of colouring pencils to look at. I love the black barrels. I really enjoy that with the colours on the ends, as opposed to my Prismacolors where the whole barrel is the colour of the pencil. I really do like this style. I liked them when I got my Black Widow set, and I really do still enjoy this. As you can see, they not only have the colour written on them, they also have a coordinating number, which does make collecting the colours, hopefully in the future, in singles easier. I know a lot of companies don't bother going down the singles route, but I think it's a direction that every colouring pencil manufacturer should go, because who wants to buy a whole set of colours just for the one colour that you need? So as always, looking at the pencils is only half of the fun. You have to swatch these beauties and see how they colour, because they can be extremely lovely to look at, but if they don't colour well, then we're not going to want them, right? So I'm going to start swatching them, speed up the video and let you know what I think initially after the swatching. So I finished my initial swatch, realised I had missed one colour out, and then the most fitting of colours was missed. It was the pink called Fudge. So what are my thoughts so far? So far the colours are really vibrant. You can get a really nice gradient from each pencil. You can go from very light and very soft, and you can get the really nice pigment to come out of the pencil, obviously by pressing harder or by layering. Now these pencils have a wax core, and it's one of their selling points on Amazon is that they sharpen well, that they blend well, and the wax core will improve your colouring by the amount of pigment that's in the wax. When I was swatching the colours, I didn't see any problem with the makeup of the pencil. They were lovely to hold, the colours were nice, they were vibrant, they went down the paper smoothly. There was a slight issue when I actually started colouring with them though. And that for me was the layering and the blending. The skin was okay. They were blending okay for the skin, but it was still quite a lot of work to get the colours that matched very nicely in colour to blend together. So I tried with the paper stamps, and it did definitely give it a much nicer blend. But then what seemed to happen was that it must have kind of compressed the wax or whatever, and there was a very waxy sheen over the entire picture. So by the time I'd finished, it was very, very waxy, and some of the pencils had, for want of a better word, gripped, wax gripped. It was as if they were balls of wax that weren't pigmented. So as I was colouring, there was these sections that would have no pigment, just wax. Now I tend to think that this would be a set of pencils that are faulty, rather than the actual company putting out pencils that are just not very good. Because again, with what I've seen on Facebook comments and what I've seen on the comments on the rating on Amazon, you're either really, really happy with them or not happy with them at all. There doesn't seem to be any middle ground with, yeah, they were okay, but they just are not for me. It's either you really love them and they're super good pencils, or they're just not for you in any way, shape or form. Colour-wise, I can see how these pencils are adored by so many. But I also see that if you have the same kind of problems that I was having, how these pencils will go from really, really good pencils to just not worth the hassle. So in the interest of fairness, I asked a few people on different colouring groups who had these pencils and didn't like them, what were their reasons for not liking them. So there were a wide variety of reasons. Anything from the fact that there was no red in the set, and somebody found that really annoying because red is a staple colour. But there were quite a few people who seemed to be having the same problem that I did, who seemed to not be able to blend the pencils properly unless you went not even multiple layers. They had to be quite hard on the pencil to blend them together, or use something like a blending stump to get the colours to move into each other. And even then it left this really waxy sheen over the top, which meant that after you'd done that, as with any colour, if you use the blending stump and kind of press hard, it's going to flatten the tooth and you can't go back in. But this was slightly different. This waxy sheen was very quick to come by. You only had to use a couple of layers and that waxy sheen stopped you from adding more layers and colours before the kind of tooth of the paper or anything like that would. I hope that makes sense. So the comments I was seeing on Facebook were starting to make more and more sense. That if you get a good set of these pencils, they are wonderful pencils, especially if you get them on sale and you're only paying £16. for a set of 48 pencils that are really, really good to use. On the other hand, if you're paying £39 and getting a bad set of pencils, I can see how this would leave a very bitter taste in your mouth. So again, after I filmed this video and I completely finished this colouring, I decided that maybe there was something I was doing wrong. Maybe I'm very heavy-handed. Anybody who's watched any of my videos will know I'm super heavy-handed. So I wanted to give it another go on a different picture to see if I could make a difference, if I could alter the way I colour in any way to make these work better for me. In short, the answer was no. I am not a master colorist by any stretch of the imagination. My colouring techniques are very basic, but they're what I enjoy colouring, and it's how I enjoy colouring. So one, I don't think anybody should have to change the way that they colour for a pencil. And by that I mean, if you colour in a certain way and most mediums will work for you with the technique that you're using, while I completely understand going outside your box and trying something different is good, when you're getting another colouring pencil, it should work in a very similar way when it's in the same family. So like wax pencils with wax pencils, oil pencils with oil pencils, water pencils with watercolour pencils, they're all going to work slightly different. But I don't think you should have to change the way that you colour for a set of pencils. Secondly, I tried it on more expensive paper, so the tooth was deeper, and I thought maybe it would give it more chance to move around the page and blend better. It didn't. It was pretty much exactly the same. The paper that I'm using on the video is very normal everyday copier paper, because when I colour, that's what I print on. I don't print on special paper unless I'm doing a commission or I'm going to colour something for a gift for somebody. When I'm doing it for my own personal enjoyment, I use bog standard, run-of-the-mill copier paper. So again, I don't want to have mediums that don't work with what I want to use. So again, it's a very personal thing, because if you want to have a certain paper with a certain medium, which definitely happens, there's Copic paper that works much better with Copic markers than normal paper would. My brain power to remember what paper to use with what pencil and to remember to swap the paper out is just non-existent. So for me, that wouldn't work. And as far as I'm aware, I couldn't find any specific paper that was made by Black Widow that these would maybe work better with, and I couldn't see any recommendations as to what paper to use with the colouring pencils. Otherwise I would have tried that to see if it made any difference. So the other thing that I found was that by the time I'd finished doing the green, I already had an idea of what colour I was going to move on to next. But I had to give myself a small break because my hand was hurting, not only from gripping the pencil quite tight, which is my own fault, but from having to work it so often. It was a lot more hard work than some other brands of pencils. Then I started to notice that every time I hit one of those kind of waxy bits in the pencil, if I sharpened it, I would kind of get rid of that section and then get back to another more pigmented section. So I was sharpening, especially the greens, quite often, and the pencils were shrinking quite rapidly because I could colour for a bit and then I'd have to sharpen it again. Then I'd colour for a bit and then I'd have to sharpen it a bit again. The skin tones didn't have as many of the kind of waxy sections as I was saying. The greens were really bad. They seem to have more of the waxy grit in. It's almost as if if you were putting the ingredients into a bowl, it was mixed but not quite enough. So where the pigment was supposed to get through all the wax, it didn't quite. Now I don't know how these pencils are made, and I don't know if that makes any sense. but that's in my imagination. That's what the problem is with these pencils, that I had too much unpigmented wax in them. Also, with there being no white and no black, which was really surprising, the blending has to come from the colours themselves. So there's no kind of blender as such. I know you can blend in the same colour family, but I felt like when I did try with the same colour family, there wasn't enough of a colour range without changing the colour that I wanted. There wasn't a white to blend, so I had to keep going back with the paper stump, and that kept causing me the same problem, that I was blending the colours but also making them like I couldn't add any more after. I was making it unworkable. All in all, the picture didn't turn out bad. It doesn't look awful. It's not what I wanted it to be, but it's not horrific. I think if you got maybe a good set of these pencils, I think they could be outstanding. I think if you ended up with a bad set, it might put you off colouring, because it's a lot of hard work. If this was your first set of colouring pencils and you ended up with the same pencils that I've got, I'm not sure you'd bother trying any more. Being made by Black Widow, I think I had super high expectations because I really enjoyed the Black Widow set that I got previously. And while they're on sale, I am toying with the idea of ordering a second set to see whether I just got a dud set of pencils or whether this is the norm for Monarch pencils, because I find it really hard to think that a company who works with such quality like the Black Widow are would slip up and make really hit or miss colouring pencils where you're either going to get a good set or a bad set. So possibility is that I will order another set and compare them, because my hope is that I did just get a dud set with these ones. We are, however, now in full lockdown again. My husband's out of work, the kids are out of school for the next 3 weeks, and the awesomeness that was amazon.co.uk is up in the air because of Brexit. So half the stuff that we used to be able to get on there, we can't get on there anymore with shipping to Ireland. And if I was to get it from .com, then the shipping is more than the pencils. So my plan is to do a part 2. At the minute, I would say don't chance the pencils, but hopefully if I can order these and get them delivered within a week or two, I will do a part 2 and let you know the comparison between the two sets, and hopefully we can then swap our opinion to these are awesome, like the Black Widow. Definitely go out and buy them. Well, that's it from me. As you can see, the picture, like I said, didn't turn out horrible. It wasn't horrific, but I hope that the next one will be better and that I can have a much better, more positive review, because I really, really want to like these pencils, because without the flaws, they would be great. The colours are fabulous, the look of them fabulous, and I like the company. This is not a sponsored video, by the way. They haven't sent me these pencils. I did buy them myself. For now, hold off on buying them. There are good reviews, there are bad reviews. I am indifferent, but leaning towards bad until I get the next set, and then we shall see. Please consider clicking that subscribe button if you haven't already done it. If you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload a video. Possibly, it doesn't always work. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Comment down below if you've got something to say. Look after yourself. Look after each other. Stay safe. And as always, stay sassy.